You think she wants a perfect man who never messes up, but what she actually responds to is a man who respects himself even when it costs him. You think love is earned by proving you're enough, but the moment you start performing, you start losing. Listen, if you've ever felt like no matter what you do, it's never quite right. If you've ever bent your whole personality into a shape you thought she'd like, if you've ever swallowed your needs because you were scared she'd leave, you're not weak. You're just running the wrong strategy. And the strategy is killing your self respect. And before you keep going down that road, hit subscribe. Not because I need it, because you do. You need reminders. You need the truth in your ear. When your emotions start negotiating with your standards, you need clarity. When the old version of you tries to crawl back in and say, just do a little more, just say sorry again, just prove yourself harder, subscribe. So you don't forget who you're supposed to be. Here's the thesis, and I'm going to say it in a way that stings a little because it has to. She doesn't want your desperation, your worship, your over-explaining, or your constant availability. She wants your strength, not the fake loud strength, the grounded why women never say this directly strength, the I know who I am strength. The kind that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't manipulate, doesn't collapse. And when she pulls away, when she gets cold, when she tests you consciously or unconsciously, what she's really looking for isn't more words. It's a signal that your spine is real. Now let's build this the right way, because most men are trapped in a misconception. The misconception is this: if I give enough, she'll feel safe and love me more. So you give. You give attention, you give time, you give reassurance, you give explanations, you give discounts on your boundaries, you give your whole nervous system to her moods. You become the emotional customer service department for her uncertainty, and it doesn't work. Sometimes it even backfires because the hard truth is what she really wants is not a man who makes her the center of his universe. She wants a man who already has a center. Purpose, standards, direction, a life that doesn't wobble just because she's having a day. You want to know why? Because women don't feel secure around a man who can be controlled by fear. They feel secure around a man who can be trusted with power, his own power. And the moment you start acting like she's your oxygen, she can feel it. She might not say it. She might not even consciously understand it, but her body understands it. That's called energetic debt. When you show up like you need her to validate your existence, you put pressure on her to carry your self-worth. You don't say it out loud, but your behavior says it. If you're happy, I'm okay. If you're upset, I'm not. And now she's not in a relationship with a man. She's in a relationship with a responsibility. And attraction dies under responsibility. Let me say it again slower. Attraction dies under responsibility. Now, here's where men get defensive. So, what? I'm not supposed to care. I'm supposed to be cold. No, you're supposed to be solid. Cold is weakness pretending to be strength. Solid is strength that doesn't need to perform. There's a difference between hidden desire, number one, explained love and chasing. There's a difference between devotion and self-abandonment. There's a difference between being present and being available, like a 247 open tab. Most men don't lose women because they aren't nice enough. They lose women because they stop being a man they respect. They stop training. They stop building. They stop leading their own life. They stop telling the truth. They stop saying no. They stop acting like their time matters. They stop. And then they look up one day and wonder why her eyes changed. That's called self-betrayal. And here's the root cause. You're trying to win love the way you learn to win approval. By being easy to accept, by being low maintenance, by being agreeable, by being good, by proving you deserve to stay. But relationships don't reward the man who is easiest to keep. They reward the man who is hardest to replace, not because he's flashy, not because he has game, but because he has a core, because he has identity, because he doesn't trade dignity for closeness. And that right there is what she'll never tell you, because she can't hand you the cheat code without making it less real. If she has to instruct you how to be a man, you've already lost the frame. She's not going to sit you down and say, I need you to stop overexting, stop apologizing for your existence, stop asking me what I want every 5 minutes, and start acting like your life matters. She might complain about a behavior. She might say, I need more space. She might say, I'm confused. She might say, I don't know. But what she won't say is the deeper truth. I'm watching how you handle uncertainty. I'm watching if you can stay steady. I'm watching whether you respect yourself when I'm not giving you reassurance, because that's what determines whether she can respect you. And if you don't understand this, it costs you everything. It costs you your sleep because you're up at 2 a.m. replaying a 3-word text like it's a court transcript. It costs you your peace because her mood becomes your weather. It costs you your mission because you start rearranging your schedule like you're on call. It costs you your masculinity, not in the toxic sense. Masculinity as in grounded self-respect, direction, the ability to hold pressure without breaking. And eventually it costs you the relationship anyway, because the more you chase, the less she feels. The more you plead, the less you lead. The more you explain, the less she hidden desire. 2, psychology trusts your center. That's the paradox. The more you try to keep her, the more you show her you can't keep yourself. So here's the reframe. She doesn't want a man who is perfect. She wants a man who is anchored. An anchored man can love deeply without losing himself. He can listen without collapsing. He can apologize without graveling. He can give without begging to be thanked. He can desire her without needing her. And now I'm going to paint you an archetype because you need a picture, not just concepts. The man who gets it, he walks slower. Not because he's trying to look cool, because he's not rushed by anxiety. He doesn't flood her phone with paragraphs when she's quiet. He notices the silence, he clocks it, and he stays calm. He doesn't punish, he doesn't chase, he doesn't perform a panic dance. He continues his day, he has standards. And you can feel them, not because he announces them, because he lives them. He doesn't argue to be understood. He speaks once clearly and he lets reality do the convincing. He doesn't threaten to leave. He doesn't need to, because his presence is a choice, not a plea. He's affectionate, but he's not needy. He's consistent, but he's not available on demand. He's romantic, but he doesn't buy closeness with gifts, compliments, and concessions. He's not trying to be picked. He's deciding. That's called frame. And frame isn't dominance. Frame is stability. It's the ability to remain yourself while emotions surge around you. It's the difference between a man who reacts and a man who responds. Now, let's get practical, because motivation without instruction is just entertainment. And you're not here to be entertained. You're here to change. Do this. When she pulls back, you don't chase, you don't interrogate, you don't send 5 follow-ups, you don't write a dissertation explaining your intentions. You do one simple thing: you stay respectful and you stay busy. If you need to communicate, you say it clean and you stop talking. You say, seems like you need some space. I'm here when you're ready. And then you mean it. Not I'm here like a doormat. I'm here like a man with options, a life, and a spine. Stop this. Stop treating her uncertainty like an emergency. Stop rewarding coldness with extra effort. Stop over-functioning for the relationship while she underfunctions. Stop negotiating your boundaries because you miss her. Stop acting like your feelings make you entitled to her attention, because entitlement is the fastest way hidden desire. Number 3, emotional meaning to become unattractive. Redirect. Redirect your energy into 3 places: your body, your purpose, your brotherhood. Your body, because strength is a language. When you lift, when you run, when you fight for conditioning, you are teaching your nervous system that pressure is survivable, that you can suffer on purpose, that you can delay gratification, that you can hold your own frame, your purpose, because men without purpose become emotional beggars. If she is the highlight of your week, you are already behind. She should be a part of your life, not the reason you have one. Your brotherhood, because isolation makes you fragile. When a man has no counsel, no honest friends, no tribe, he turns his woman into his therapist, his coach, his mother, his mirror. And that's not love. That's need. That's called emotional dumping. Now, boundaries, because every man says he wants them, but most men only enforce them when they're angry, and anger boundaries are weak boundaries. Real boundaries are calm. Here's what you do. You decide what you tolerate, what you negotiate, and what you walk away from. Then you live like you mean it. If she disrespects you, you name it once. If it continues, you remove access not as a punishment, as a consequence. If she lies, you don't work through it with a woman who won't take accountability. You don't try to teach integrity, you leave. If she plays games with other men for attention, you don't compete. You don't argue, you don't try to become more impressive. You step back and you let her have her circus because you are not auditioning for the role of man she might finally appreciate. And yes, this means you might lose some women. Good. Because the goal isn't to keep every woman. The goal is to become the kind of man who only keeps what matches him. Now, let's talk about the part nobody wants to hear. If you're constantly afraid she'll leave, it's usually because deep down you think she's better than you. Maybe she's prettier than any woman you've had. Maybe she has more options than you. Maybe you're still trying to prove you're worthy. That's called pedestal placement. And when you place her above you, you place yourself below you, you become a servant in your own story. Get off your knees, not literally, spiritually, because self-respect is not arrogance. Self-respect is alignment. It's when hidden desire shush her for. Most men miss your actions, match your values. It's when you stop saying things you don't mean just to keep peace. It's when you stop tolerating what breaks you just to avoid loneliness. Loneliness is not the enemy. Loss of self is the enemy. Now, I'm not telling you to be heartless. I'm telling you to be honest. Honest about what you want, honest about what you won't accept, honest about your standards, honest about your time, honest about your mission. And here's the wild part. When you become that man, you stop needing her to tell you what she wants because you can see it. You'll see it in how she shows up. You'll see it in how she respects your time. You'll see it in how she responds to your boundaries. You'll see it in whether she adds peace or brings chaos. You'll see it because talk is cheap. Behavior is the biography. So, what does she really want? She wants a man whose love is a gift, not a bargain. She wants a man who can say, I want you, without saying, I need you. She wants a man who can be warm without being weak. She wants a man who can handle her emotions without drowning in them. She wants a man who has direction and she can feel it when she stands next to him. Not because she needs you to be her savior, but because your stability gives her permission to relax. And if you're thinking, yeah, but what if I do all this and she still leaves? Then she leaves and you'll still be standing. That's the point. You're not building this version of you to keep her. You're building this version of you so you never have to beg again, so you never have to betray yourself for attention again, so you never have to negotiate your dignity for closeness again. You're not here to be chosen, you're here to choose. And I need you to understand something. The moment you stop chasing validation, you become the kind of man women can't forget. Not because you manipulated them, because you stopped manipulating yourself, you stopped lying to yourself, you stopped pretending you were okay with crumbs. You became whole. Now tighten the sequence. Here's what you do starting today. You stop overexting. If she's interested, she'll meet you halfway. You stop long explanations, say it once, let her react, you stop apologizing for having standards, you stop trying to fix her feelings, you listen, you hold, you decide, you stop making her the judge of your value, and you start doing the work you've been avoiding. You train like a man who plans to be alive in 10 years, you build your skill set like your future family depends on it, you handle your money. What you should do as a man like you, respect yourself. You clean up your environment like you're not a boy. You speak directly. You leave faster when respect disappears. You stop negotiating with red flags because you're lonely. That's called maturity. And maturity is attractive because it's rare. Most men want comfort. Most men want quick reassurance. Most men want the easy yes. Most men want to be liked. But you're going to want something better. You're going to want self-respect, because when you have self-respect, you don't have to play games. You don't have to guess. You don't have to stalk her social media like an investigator. You don't have to ask your friends what her 3-hour delay means. You don't have to spiral. You become a man who can sit in silence and still feel powerful. Presence versus panic, reality versus fantasy, strength versus performance. And if she's the right woman, she'll feel that and she'll move toward it. If she's not, she'll try to test it, mock, it or destabilize it. She'll call it cold. She'll call it distance. She'll call it you changed. Let her, because you did change. You didn't become worse. You became clearer. And clarity is dangerous to people who benefit from your confusion. So let me end with an identity reset. You are not here to audition for love. You are not here to convince someone to value you. You are not here to beg for basic respect. You are not here to abandon yourself to keep someone close. You are final advice and motivation, the standard. You are the leader of your life. You are the answer. And if you want more of this, more truth, more clarity, more hard reminders when your old habits start whispering, subscribe, because this isn't motivation. This is recalibration. This is you coming back to yourself. And if you've been feeling like you're the only one trying to live with standards in a world that rewards weakness, you're not alone. You're with us now. You're with men who are done negotiating their dignity. You're with men who are building a life that doesn't collapse when someone's attention changes.